Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jesse Taylor. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for Rpag. Today, we'll be talking about growing your business and giving you some unrivaled prospecting strategies. A little bit about us at Rpag, if you're not familiar with us. We're an industry-leading platform designed for elite advisors and institutions. We help create successful outcomes by giving you, the advisor, the tools to help your plan sponsor clients and help you engage with participants. We look at our business in three different ways. We provide advisors with a very high-touch service and support structure. We give you unique solutions so you can have competitive differentiators in the market. And we provide you with excellent technology that's going to give you scale and efficiency so you can be profitable in your retirement plan practice, so you can service more, sell more, and worry about the technology less. Today, our group of advisors has over $800 billion in assets under influence across the country. Over 7 million participants are serviced by the care of the expert Rpag member firms around this great nation. They collectively serve over 80,000 plans and are often recognized as NAPA's top advisory firms, as well as many other surveys that are out there. We at Rpag, we always try to help you with your biggest concerns. So that's growing your book of business, retaining clients, being efficient with your time, having scalable processes so you can grow. And help, a big challenge always is leveraging the technology that you have. And that's why we have these webinars like this, as well as our service and support structure. And advisors, you have these alternative outside factors. You need to differentiate from your competitors in a continuously homogenized business. And you also face fee compression. So you need to be profitable in what you can charge to your clients. Today, specifically, we're going to be talking about sales and marketing and growth strategies, and how to leverage the technology that you have at your disposal, give you some insights and ideas that are going to help you go out there, fill that pipeline, and book those meetings. One thing that I like to look at, and I'm going back to my early days with the firm 12 years ago, is it was always seen as a marketing funnel. When you go out, you wanted to have a funnel, you look at big picture, you have your big target, you funnel it down to your right prospects, and there you go, you go and sell, right? Sales and marketing go hand in hand. You need to create awareness. You need to get information on that client. You need to evaluate their plans. They need to evaluate you. You need to engage with them on an ongoing drip basis. And then you get into the sales cycle and you're booking meetings, you're following up, you're presenting alternative solutions, and then ultimately you create customer loyalty. That truth doesn't really go away. But with modern technology and modern marketing, what we've seen is a little bit of a different style. So going from the old funnel to the new sales and marketing loop. A lot of the terminology is still there, right? Awareness, consideration, advocacy, loyalty. But as you'll see on the right side of the screen in the blue, where that in blue, that's purchase, advocacy, and loyalty. We'd consider that the sales side and the consulting side of the sales and marketing cycle. And whether you've already closed a business, you're constantly marketing and selling to them because you need to retain that customer. If they fall out of being a customer or out of a sales cycle, you go into the left side, to the red side, where they're in your marketing side of the cycle. So you're creating awareness and consideration. You're doing that through mass email and call campaigns. You're doing that through targeted email and call and event-based marketing and creating considerations, but it's always a cycle. And let's say a client, or you don't close a prospect, they don't quite get there, they stay in your cycle. They should never leave off. So we're going to talk about how to leverage this cycle a little bit, as well as the traditional marketing plans. But one question I always get from advisors, I love to bring this up on a lot of calls that I do, is just time spent prospecting. So everyone on the line today, you understand the sales and marketing cycles. You have successful retirement plan businesses. But oftentimes when we talk to advisors, they've stalled a little bit or they've hit a plateau. And when we talk to the top advisors, they're constantly spending 80% of their time prospecting, or 1,500 hours a year at the minimum. But the typical advisor, they start out, and when they're in the startup phase and the thriving phase, they are marketing pretty well. But what happens, and you would think that the typical advisor maybe just doesn't spend as much time prospecting as the other advisors. But what we see is that the typical advisors aren't getting to that dominant and elite phase. They have a nice thriving business, but they're not dominant. They're not elite because they are not prospecting anymore. They have built a successful business and they continue to service. And so there's a few things you can do. You can save time in your sales process by using technology and some tips that we're going to share today. And you want to get back your time from separating your sales and your service activities. That might be hiring a dedicated salesperson or a junior salesperson to help you book meetings and calls. Or it might be hiring a dedicated service person or developing someone within your firm to take over more client servicing opportunities. You want to enhance your operational efficiencies in your client service process by leveraging available technology. So for example, in the Rpag tool, we love to share ideas like data aggregation of our plan asset link and using automated meeting notes and using our fee benchmarking tools to just shave off minutes and hours over the course of the year. That's going to lead up to weeks of saved time so you can go out there and sell more and close more business. So let's talk about filling the pipeline. Filling your pipeline and filling that marketing cycle is really about starting with a marketing plan. Usually when I do these sessions live and in person, I always like, say, raise your hand if you have a marketing plan. And, sometimes we get a couple of hands, but it's not always full, but we're all in a sales and revenue business. And so we should all have a marketing plan and we should know what that is, right? So some tips, if you don't have a fleshed out marketing plan, right? You want to finalize your target market. You want to understand what size plans you're going after. Are you focused in your area on, $1 to $5 million plans? Have you moved up market? Are you in the 5 to 25? Are you approaching the mega plan market? You want to find the target market and build that target and then have your concentric rings around that to know, all right, well, yeah, my target is $20 million plans, but in a certain sector or field, but I'll take plans 1 to 100 million of a certain type, or small business owners or manufacturing or not-for-profit, whatever it might be. Create those targets and those concentric rings of targets. Then go out and create your suspect list. You might know who they are. It might be Chamber of Commerce. We use Larkspur by Rick Strema, fantastic tool to just go out there and say, here is our suspect list. And there's some ways that you can filter out to find that exact target market and then export that for your marketing and sales purposes. Then you want to commit your resources and your time to marketing and sales. That's what I showed before, right? You need to dedicate that time, make it practice. It's really nothing revolutionary. It's like diet and exercise, right? You got to just get up, you got to move, you got to do it, and you got to find ways to separate so you can allocate that 80% of your time to selling. You want to understand the modes of marketing, right? So that's your event marketing, mass email marketing. A newer phase of marketing is really, I call it direct mass email marketing. So it's not just email blast, but using these really cool automated tools that send one-to-one emails out and help you analyze data. Again, allocation of your time to make sure where you're spending that time, whether you're focusing primarily on focusing on relationships, focusing on other centers of influence, or more of your mass campaigns. And then, as always, make a great first impression through emails, through calls, and through in-person meetings. You also want to trust the process. So this is a bit of a, I'd call it a marketing plan and think of it like a fitness regimen that we've given, and it's worked time and time again over the past 20 years of Rpag helping advisors with their business. And it's always spend 20 hours a month on new and existing referral sources. You want to spend 20 hours a month researching 5500s, using tools like Larkspur or the DOL website or other technology that you might have access to. 100 new prospect cold calls or now emails per month. Really easy to do that. I mean, you can do 100 in a day and 100 in a minute with some of these technologies. And then 2 to 4 drip email campaigns per month. So that ends up being that 80 to 120 hours a month. That's your 80% of your time. That's going to equal 1,500 hours a year, but you got to find that time. In terms of the content that you have, you either need to develop it or work with marketing partners to help you with that. At Rpag, we have lots of marketing and content templates and newsletters and things you can utilize. But there's other really excellent tools out there like FMG Suite and 401k marketing and a lot of other resources. We might be part of a larger organization or benefit shop that has good drip email campaigns that you can attract customers. Whatever it is, you just need to be consistent with that drip and with that content. So here's some tools of the trade for when it comes to filling the pipeline, understanding the target market suspect list. You got Larkspur Rextrema. That's who we partner with on their Larkspur Executive and Pro products. But there's other fantastic tools there. If you're not utilizing that, you might be using Judy Diamond for your Risapedia. There's a lot of other great resources there. You might get lists from your DCIO or record keeper partners. Whatever it is, there's some really fantastic tools out there. Since we partner with Larkspur and have for some time, we're really most comfortable with that. When we talk about creating lists in Larkspur to fill that pipeline to engage in your marketing process, here's some best practices, right? You want to be selective enough and to remove the plans that you don't want. So you don't just want to look and say, I want to go within 300 miles of my location, plans $1 to $1 billion, right? That's a huge list. That might be your target, but I'm sure most of you have that. You want to make sure that they're attractive plans that are best fit customers for you, but you don't want to be too selective that you're whittling that list down to 5 or 10 plans. You want to strike that balance between quantity and quality. When setting the location, go around you, right? So understand your striking distance. You might be in a smaller town. You might have to look outwards. You might be, here where we're located, Southern California, and you want to go out, to your closest neighbors, which are like, there's 40 million people within 100 miles of you. Whatever works, set that zip code. And then you want to make sure if you're using a tool like Larkspur that you want to check that key executives' emails are available. Tools like Larkspur and probably some others, they capture emails, they capture contact information on key executives. It's nice to know who the businesses are, but if you're not getting that email available, it's not going to help with these mass and drip email campaigns. But if you don't have the emails available, you can use tools like Zoom Info or LinkedIn Sales Navigator to contact and find these people. So there's a lot of technology to get around that too. Some export criteria when you're exporting lists, right? You want company name, sponsor, who's signing that. You want their company EIN. That helps when you want to find the longer form 5500. You want to look at total participants and plan assets, administrative fees if those are available, the overall plan rating. We don't really live and die by the plan ratings on a lot of these tools, but they offer really nice first contact. In case the rating is not very high, you can use that as a foot in the door. And then you want to understand their service providers, who they're currently working with. Here's a sample of an export. While there's a lot of great reports and analysis within that tool, I encourage you to explore all of them within Larkspur. They have a lot of fantastic reports. It's really nice too that you can just export that to Excel and filter it and make notes on it as needed, and then really find those best fit clients in case, hey, some you're going to put into the your more mass email campaigns and marketing campaigns, but then there's some that you want to just call right away and get some cadences. I'll often use the word cadence, and cadence or sequence are similar terminologies that you'll see in some of these email tools that are out there. And so it's really nice, instead of just like a Constant Contact or MailChimp or one of the other mass email campaigns that give you a nice designed email for mass marketing and email campaigns. You probably clicked on an email like that to join this webinar. There are now direct email tools. They're really, really interesting. And if done right, it doesn't feel like spam if you do it organically, and it looks like it's coming, and it really does actually come from your email inbox. Let's say you're utilizing Outlook and it comes through there, but it's really automated, and a system will send out hundreds at a time, customize it to the individual's name. So it'll say, hey, Jesse, I'd love to talk with you a little bit more about your retirement plan. I see that it's not scoring well, and I'd like to give you some solutions for that. And then, of course, that's a very simplified version of an email cadence. We've written many, many well-designed and crafted cadences and templates out there. But these are fantastic tools. They're not too expensive, and they help you do this like an email type of outreach that you would normally do, but do it en masse. I mean, some of them up to 300 or 500 contacts at a time. So there's Rxtrema. They have their Larkspur Pro tool. We have a partnership and a discount with them, but that's a really nice tool because it syncs up with the retirement technology. But there's other tools like HubSpot, SalesLoft, Outreach, and I'm sure there's many more fantastic software service platforms out there to utilize for direct emailing. But if you're not engaged with this, I highly encourage you to. It's very, very interesting and very effective because you can analyze the data. You can see how many people have clicked and viewed. Usually it integrates with some sort of meeting booking software, like whether through like HubSpot has their own, SalesLoft can sync up with Calendly. There's other sources that can help you book meetings. Kind of going back to the other, what we talked about earlier, the sales and marketing loop, you have your purchase advocacy consideration. Usually when we get to those email cadences, what we were just showing, you've usually gone through the red and now you're into the blue. They've engaged with you in some sort of mass marketing capacity. Now you're going to hit them with direct marketing. Hey, thank you for coming to our online fiduciary workshop or in-person fiduciary workshop. I'd love to meet with you and talk about how we can enhance your retirement plan or give better financial wellness resources to your participants, whatever your key insight might be. So utilize the technology for that. So when you're targeting an email campaign, right, start when you're using a tool like Larkspur, go out there with a specialized search. So find location, plan demographics and parameters, what funds, maybe you want to talk about fund costs or certain share classes of funds. Maybe you have access to exclusive CITs or something of the sort. And then, or you want to talk target date funds. So find certain plans with underperforming investments on Larkspur, export that list. Go and then create email templates. You can just write them up in Word or whatever technology you utilize. At Rpag, we have some great templates. Like, for example, we have some email target date fund cadences. And then send the emails using an automation tool. So that might be a Larkspur Pro, might be HubSpot, but send those out to your targeted list and not just the whole mass list. Or these might be people that have already engaged with you in some capacity and you want to do another outreach. Then, analyze the results, continue to look at it and say, how is this campaign doing? Am I getting enough results? Am I getting single-digit response rates to these emails? Or am I getting 50+% response rates to this email? So you know when to shift and when to make changes. Then there's follow-up cadences. Maybe they've responded to you. It's great. You reach back out. You've booked they book a meeting through your email. You're doing a one-on-one on Zoom or Teams or whatever technology you utilize. And then you want to put them in another cadence. Thank you for meeting with me. I'd love to give you a proposal. I'd love to share more information. So have a follow-up cadence to your follow-up cadences and never have a stop. And if you put a little bit of work in on the front end, it becomes very automated and time-saving on the back end. And then the folks who do not respond and they don't go through, make sure they're entered back into the red part of your marketing cycle. You want to then continue to have them drip on the content that you're sending out, the newsletters, the fiduciary hot topics. And so they can reconsider. And it might not just be the right time, but if you keep them in the cycle and you keep going from red to blue and back, you'll create a loyalty and you'll create a customer eventually on them. Let's talk a little bit about sales strategy. So you've utilized the technology, you've booked a meeting. We do give some really nice tips here, and we've done workshops over the years to really evaluate the best way. And we've tried to formulate a process. We call it the red flag process that takes the tried and true sales methods that you all utilize and puts them in a easy to use format. So you probably already are knowing this, but for folks who just need a little refresher, we talk about a little bit of know your customer. So one, does the customer have a problem, or does the prospect have a problem? If you just go in straight up and say, here's who we are, we're Rpag, and this is what we're all about, you're not necessarily going to identify, right? It's the Simon Sinek model of start with why. People buy why you do it, not what you do. And so it's a very similar fashion. If you just talk about what you do, and this is what we do, and we do investment analysis and target date fund consulting and fee benchmarking and vendor analysis, might not have the impact that you need. So you need to ask them why. You need to figure out and analyze the customers or the potential customer's problem. Do they have a problem? Are they having really low enrollment in their plan, or bad results, or folks aren't allocating right, or they're not able to get the folks who need to retire successfully, right? How big is that problem? Is it massive? You need to help quantify and guide that potential customer on that path. So what are the costs and consequences and risks of staying the same? Let's take fee benchmarking, for example. They're paying too much. You need to quantify what the costs are to what, because their plan has not been benchmarked in 5 or more years. What is going to be the risk to the participants and to the plan? Maybe it might be litigation. It could just be bad results and not having successful retirement, not having the savings that the participants need. So quantify that. And then who else is impacted? Is it just the participants, or is it the plan sponsor as well? We kind of look at that in a red flag sales cycle. So it's one, most leads that you'll have start as satisfied. They're happy with what they're doing. They've done a good job. They've built their retirement plan program. They're okay. They're not even aware that there's a problem. So really, you need to help them create awareness that there's a problem. I've analyzed your plan. I'm looking here within Larkspur, and you have this investment, and this investment had a manager change 3 years ago and has been underperforming massively. And you should be taking action. So make them aware of the problem. Then they need to have a decision whether they're going to fix that problem or not. Is that problem big enough? And that's up to you to help quantify and highlight that. From there, step 4, the prospect will explore their options. Okay, or is it going to be, do we make this switch of this investment? Do we work with our current advisor? Or do we switch to potentially a new advisor to this person who's talking to me? And then the action or the best option. So that is the cycle. And then always, as they become your client, they move forward with you, they're satisfied with you. But you need to continue to resell them and make sure that you're solving their problems ongoing. Really, we're just going to focus on, going from phase 1 to phase 2, satisfied to aware, and not get into too much. So first meeting strategy when you have this lead is do your research, then that's using 5,500. So you've identified on Larkspur, you've got their EIN. Now go to the DOL site and pull the full 5,500 and do the research, dissect that plan. You want to highlight and trim down the PDF even. So you don't even want to present the full analysis, trim down just to those important parts and analyze it. Export a lineup. So try to get their investment lineup if it's available in Larkspur, and use one of your investment analysis tools. If you're using Rpag, that'll do the trick. If you have access to something else, you want to take a look at that and see where you can dissect and highlight within their investments, the fees, the revenue sharing, what you can do. Create a mapping, right? Through Rpag, you have a mapping tools. You can do cost analysis mapping, share class analysis mapping, show them what it would look like at an alternative provider, and do a fun mapping to say, here's where you're at today. This is what ideal could be. Over the years, we've kind of gone back and forth and seen what was successful. There was a time where we said, don't show them alternative options. Don't show them a mapping. Don't give them the answers. But what happens is then that also doesn't highlight your capabilities as an advisor. You want to show them what a ideal state would look like and how you can help them get there. And then you want to create a deck with all those findings. The goal of that first meeting should be to create a coach. It'll make your job easier. it'll be easier to work with. You'll make them look good in front of their boss, and you'll make their plan better. And the coach they want you to win. They want themselves to look better. They want to provide more information to you on how you can win the business. And the coach is going to be your advocate because they're a decision maker or trusted by the decision makers. Oftentimes, the folks that you might be working with larger businesses are in HR. They might not be the pure decision maker in terms of the retirement plan and which advisor to go to, but they have the most at stake. They're the most invested. They're spending the most amount of time on this retirement plan and helping the participants. So they have the most skin in the game, at least, an emotion in the game. So you need to work with them and make sure that they look well. You want them to look good in front of their colleagues. As always, that goal is to get that second meeting. So what to prepare for that first meeting, right? You want that pitch deck. That pitch deck should have a little bit about the challenges that the client faces, a little bit about your firm, dissect some of the 5,500 and research and analysis that you've done. You may even want to share some sample deliverables of the type of research that you can do. You might have some marketing pieces about that show about yourself, your qualifications, the technology you utilize. And then, have important questions that you've prepared to know that are going to lead that prospect down the right path. The agenda in that first meeting, some really good questions we like to ask is, you want to say who are you and where did you get to this point? Talk about the clients that you work with, about their size, mention a different couple key brand or companies that are recognizable in your area. You want to ask them who they are as an organization and how they got their plan to where it is. So how long has it been with their provider? Why did they choose that? Why did they choose their advisor? What type of services does the advisor provide? You want to start diagnosing where you can create a wedge. Also share how you'll help them grow. Let them know that most of your clients that have gone maybe from 2 million are now up to 5 million. And if they were also at 2 million, it's time to grow up and choose a different provider. And then also, create a takeaway. And you want to provide that initial value to get that second meeting, right? You want to get some information. I'd love to provide an investment review and really dive into your funds. I'd love to look at a fee benchmarking review. And so I can analyze your fees and see how we would compare to the market, to the industry. So continue to look at that. So, my action items to you, all right, so that's just getting to that second meeting. There's a long way to go. There's a lot of great technology out there. It's just important to know that, the people fix the big problems, not the small ones. So when you're identifying and analyzing your target market and looking in there, see where the big issues lie. It could be in their provider, it could be in their investments, it could be in the performance of the plan. So, are participants participating? Are they retiring successfully? You want to highlight those big issues and how you could fix that. Know your customer, know what drives them, know the tendencies of the individual that you're working with and foster that relationship. And as always, review your technology stack because the tools, are not what's going to help you close the deal, but they're going to help you analyze that market, save you time so you can go out there and sell and prospect some more, and ultimately give you the research and the analysis that'll help you dissect the plan and highlight those issues to help close the business. So thank you for your time today. If you're interested in learning more about this, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My contact information is here on the screen, or you can reach out to the Rpag support team and we'll get you in contact with myself or any one of our specialists here. So thank you very much for your time. And now I think we do have a couple of questions in the chat to answer. So thank you very much. Another question here was about Larkspur and our partnership. Larkspur, if you go retail, it's around $1,000 or so for their 5,500 tool search tool, Larkspur Executive. Rpag members have access to that tool. Either it's built into their existing relationship. If you don't have it, You can sign up for $200 a year. We have fantastic partnership with them and fantastic pricing. Can't beat that anywhere in the industry to get their tool. We also have single sign-on capability with them where our investment scores, our scorecard scores, are present in their system. So as you see the investments within a plan, you can see the RPAG fund score and help you analyze it even more. We have a great partnership too on their Larkspur Pro. Larkspur Pro is their email marketing automation tool. It's fantastic. I think retail direct through Larkspur, it's around $3,500 a year. Through RPAG, it's $2,000 a year. Again, a great benefit to being an RPAG member. We leverage our size and scale to get great discounts and partnerships with fantastic vendors like Rextrema. So that's out there. We have a lot of tools and guides on how to utilize that tool and how to integrate it within the reporting and the technology at RPAG. A great question. So I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time. Again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us to learn more. If you are not an RPAG member and you're interested in learning about how RPAG, our tools and our technology and our resources can help you grow your business, please don't hesitate to reach out and get a demo and see how we can help you along your journey to become that dominant and elite retirement plan advisor. So thank you very much for your time. Take care.